Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey. For more Cowboys coverage, go follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney, and of course DM me or tweet at me any questions you have. I tend to get to most of them. We're going to break down some Cowboys news on Tyron Smith's injury, but first let's talk about what everyone is talking about right now. That is Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, he has left Cabo. No more training down in Mexico. He is returning back to Dallas, the greater DFW area where he lives, during the season and offseason and whatnot. Now, before we freak out, it's a positive sign here. I will make note, I don't see any scenario in which this is a bad thing, Like, I don't know how you could spin it as Zeke's left Cabo and he's not going to come back, but he's in Dallas. So no matter what this is, it's definitely a positive thing for Zeke and for the Cowboys. However, it also doesn't mean that a new deal for Zeke and the Cowboys between those two is any closer. I think it makes some sense, though, right? Like, if you're Zeke, you were on the western side in Mexico when you were training, where the Cowboys were. Now they're coming back to Frisco, and you're going to come back as well. Also, this was the photo I am sure you guys saw on social media late last night. It was from Cowboys Reddit. A friend was on there, and look, there's Zeke flying coach, by the way, or not coach, business class. He's flying business class. Zeke does not fly coach. He also does not fly, I guess, super first class. But shout out Zeke, not having like his own private jet and wasting his money that way. So good on you there, Zeke. And probably didn't do as much crap from Delta. Moving now to Zeke and the discussion here. Again, we know what the problem is, right? It's a difference in the money being offered. Reports are the Cowboys trying to use the Lev Bell contract as a better guideline market setter type deal for what Zeke should get. You should get under 14, less than what Todd Gurley got. And frankly, I think Stephen Jones kind of put himself behind the 8 ball in these whole negotiations when he said at the NFL Combine, hey, we know the deal starts with Todd Gurley's contract. And then, if you believe Steven, the market changed, right? Lev Bell comes in, $13.1 million. There are some differing in the guarantees. Gurley, his deal just straight up is better than Bell's. Like, there's really no way to spin it as, say, Lev Bell got more or a better than Todd Gurley. Gurley got the better end of that deal. I think there's issues with the overall guarantees, as you know, is more important truly than the per year numbers. You can be making $17 million per year at the RB spot, but if it's all backloaded and there are no guarantees, well, you're never going to actually see that money. So the structure, I'm sure, is a big factor in that. Now, again, you've seen both sides use the media, not quite to the extreme extent as Dak, but you've seen both sides use the media to kind of try and use negotiations in that way. And Zeke's camp just blatantly sent out a tweet from Schefter's account pretty much in that, hey, Zeke is in the best shape of his life. He is down in the low 220, just like, we're talking like 4 to 5 pounds here, frankly, of what Zeke's lowest weight ever is, because he's listed at 220. That's about what he was at the NFL Combine. Either way, though, I do buy the report that Zeke is in great shape. I mean, we all saw Zeke when he came back from Cabo the first time, back when he was suspended, right? The dude was chiseled. He looked in incredible shape. I don't even know if we're going to get that level of in-shape Zeke, but I believe when the Cowboys report, or at least leak, that, hey, we think Zeke is in great shape, and I believe that as well. I think Zeke is taking care of his body in the correct way. But the end point remains the same here. The holdout continues to drag on. So where do we stand? And more importantly, who is going to actually blink first? Now, Zeke's main leverage point is his value, less as a RB in the NFL, more to just the Cowboys. That's why Zeke, we passed that August 6th deadline. We're well past it at this point, beyond 10 days right now, almost 2 weeks at this point. So he is not going to accrue a year for NFL free agency, and maybe we didn't do the best job of explaining it way back when, but it doesn't really matter for Zeke because he can't reach free agency until 2021 because that's the nature of his contract. He has that 5th-year option, so he has next year to accrue a year to become a true free agent. However, if for some reason there is no deal struck, he cannot hold out again next year without being an RFA, which he might get more money, but there's a draft pick competition attached to it from a different team. Doesn't really help him in the end get long-term money. So what this does for Zeke here, the longer he holds out, the more limiting he's doing against his own long-term options and leverage. If Zeke holds out, he will never become an NFL free agent. That's where he sits right now. At some point, he's got to show up. And that point, by the way, is week 10. So unless Zeke is going to take the mindset of I will never play again without a new contract, he has to show up at some point. And I don't believe Zeke would be foolish enough to actually take that mindset there. His contract tolls, a.k.a. it pretty much rolls over to next year if he sits out past Week 10. That does limit his ability to really hold out and leverage. And if you look at it through the lens of Zeke is trying to get paid by some team at some point, which I think is more of what Melvin Gordon, what Lev Bell clearly did last year, his moves don't really make much sense. But if his mindset is, I want to get paid now and buy the Dallas Cowboys, well, it starts to make a whole lot more sense for Zeke Elliott, especially if there's an Emmitt Smith type scenario where the Cowboys start the year 0-3, Jerry Jones overtakes the role from Steven and says, no, you pay my star back right now. So here's my question for you. Will Zeke hold out into the regular season? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I don't think he does. I am not wholly convinced the two sides reach a deal, but I don't think you're going to see Zeke Elliott miss out on game checks. The fines, whatever, those can get made up pretty quickly there. But if he misses out on game checks, all of a sudden, he's approaching $250,000 each game at that point. I don't think you're going to see Zeke hold out for that extended period of time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Now, speaking of Zeke, if you want one of his jerseys or Dak Prescott or Jalen Smith, here's how you can get one. Head over to chatsports.com/Cowboys. Use promo code GOCowboys for a 100% deposit bonus. And after you sign up and deposit, place your first bet and then email us at promo@chatsports.com. That's promo@chatsports.com. The good people here will help you guys get your jersey. Now for some good news for Zeke. Those charges for Zeke, they're not going to happen. There are no charges here for Ezekiel Elliott. The Vegas police, they are not going to move forward. It's done. The case has been closed, despite, I put victims in quotes there for obvious reasons. He wanted to pursue charges, look, maybe by the strictest legal definition, that was battery, but also, like, come on, we know what battery is supposed to look like. That wasn't the intent of the law was not for that type of thing there. By the way, this does not impact Zeke in the NFL. The NFL has already ruled there would be no discipline. So not that the charges would have changed anything, but Zeke is in the clear now, both from the NFL's and from the legal perspective on this. Although I can almost guarantee you'll see some type of lawsuit, because let's be real here, the dude's in it for the money at this point. Which, hey, if you can get the bag, more power to you there. Here's where things sit, though, with the Cowboys in the RB position. Of course, you know Zeke is the starter. That's not a huge surprise. It's Zeke. Tony Pollard continues to be the number 2 guy, and the Cowboys continue to hype him up at every single chance that they get there. Alfred Morris, he didn't play in the first preseason games because, frankly, the Cowboys didn't think they needed him out there. They know him for a long time. They trust him there. Darius Jackson, Mike Weber, and I guess Jordan Chun, too, competing for maybe a spot, more likely potential practice squad spot between Weber and Chun if it comes to that. All right, guys, help me get the bag now. Help me get to $50K. The powers that be here have promised me extra money if and when we get to $50K. I don't know about you guys, but I like money, and I'll be honest, that just took me up here. Help me out. Get us to $50K. It means we get to do more and more fun stuff for you guys, and then, of course, I get extra money, and I'm not going to give it to you, but it would be nice, right? Thanks, guys. All right, moving on now to TYRON Smith, our last note here of the day. He did not travel with the team to Hawaii due to his back, and I've seen a lot of freak out, and I understand it. Like, Tyron has a history of back problems. That's a reason to have some concern here. But the Cowboys have made it clear, and I tend to believe them, at least for now, this was just a precautionary measure. I don't know about you, I don't think it's a great idea to have a 6'7"-ish, 350-pound, well, not quite that money, but like 325-pound dude sit on a flight to Hawaii for like 5 hours, and then 8 hours from Hawaii to Dallas. I don't think that's the best use of his time there, especially if his back is tight. Now, Tyron had already put himself in best shape of life season, SZN, by the way. I'm feeling great now. This is back in April, and he kind of reiterated it back in late July. I feel like I'm in the best shape I've been in a while. Now, I wish there was some magical cure-all surgery that would just fix it, but that's not what this is. You can't just fix it. There's no surgery to get it done there. And the biggest concern for me, at least, is back injuries tend to linger. That is a worthwhile concern. They said it was precautionary. I'm inclined to believe them, but if you want to worry, you can worry about this one. Frankly, though, I'd be a little bit more worried about Zach Martin's issue, at least for now, than I would be about Tyron Smith. But again, I'm not panicking about either of those guys. In Smith's absence, that's the word I'm looking for there, Cam Fleming will be your starter at left tackle. So let me know, how worried are you guys about Tyron Smith's back issues? Grade for me on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, you're going what back issues? There's nothing to be concerned about there. 10 means you want to cut or trade Tyron right now and just put anybody else in there, which is not the correct answer, by the way. I'm like a 4. It's always a lingering issue, but I don't think this is going to be a season-ending issue for Tyron. And frankly, even when he wasn't 100% last year, he was still great. Tyron Smith is still one of the best left tackles in the NFL. If you want to look for more help, I am on board with that, but I'm not panicking quite yet about Tyron Smith. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.